Hey guys, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who are repeat offenders, welcome back to the Conscious Basket Show. My name is Samantha McCord and I am the founder and CEO of Conscious Basket. And on the show, we are going to be interviewing extraordinary people just trying to make a difference in this world and giving you tips on how you can too. So as always, if you like what we do, please subscribe, download a couple episodes, and leave a comment below. I will read them all. But for now, let's just dive right in.
Fun fact, some people think bamboo is wood. Actually, it's a grass. It's a grass that is quite amazing because it grew very fast, but I mean very fast, especially for some species that can only grow in Asia. So those species are highly renewable. It means that if you have a field that is big enough for your manufacture, you can cut it very often and it will keep growing.
Today, we welcome Adrien, the founder and CEO of Sustainable Tomorrow. Adrien is on a mission to play an active role for a better future for all of us and for our planet. He's traveled the world and seen how many cultures use single-use plastic and wants everyone to know that the hard truth is that every plastic product we use ends up somewhere on this planet. In the episode, we cover alternatives to plastic, standing up for what you believe in, and how we can all fight for a sustainable tomorrow. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, welcome back to the Conscious Basket Show. My name is Samantha McCord and I am the founder and CEO of Conscious Basket. And today we are welcoming Adrien. Hi Adrien, how are you?
Hello, I'm great, and you?
Good, I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Wonderful.
How are things in France?
That's great. Some good weather and nothing to complain about. It's fine.
Nothing to complain when you're in France, that's for sure.
Can say that, yes.
Well, before we get into, all about your company and everything that you do, I wanted to give the listeners a little backstory about you, where you're from, and all of the travels and wonderful things that you and your wife have done with your animals also. So tell me a little bit about where you're from.
Okay. So a few years ago, actually, as you said, I'm from France. So I've lived pretty much all my life nearby Paris in a small suburb with my family. And I've done my study there. And at some point, I think 5 years after graduation, I moved to Hong Kong. So in Asia. So it was a huge change for us. So me, my wife, my cat and my dog. So that was a huge project to move them there. But it was way worth it because we wanted to be all together. We lived there 3 years and we were lucky to experience a life abroad, mostly in Hong Kong, but also with many travels, both for my job, because I was working in a big bank, and for holidays. So and I spent most of my time, let's say, between Hong Kong, Japan, and Thailand and Vietnam. And so we lived 3 years there. We had part-time in the heart of Hong Kong and a bit of time in a very remote location, which is Lam Island. I hope some of the people that watch us will know what I'm talking about. It is an amazing island in Hong Kong. I wish everyone can see that. You can look up on Google. That's about it. About where I come from. So very recently, we moved back in Paris, still in the suburb, and now we have 2 kids there, plus the cat, plus the dog, plus another cat, plus 2 tortoises. So big family, if I can say.
And when you were in Hong Kong, you guys said, you spent quite a bit of time on that beautiful island and, with your family and your dog and your cat. But did you notice anything while you were there that, really gave you the idea to start the company that you have today?
Yeah. So actually, I was not paying too much attention of let's say, our wasteful habit back in Europe when I was there. But I think it's for sure when I was in Asia that I realized that something was wrong in how we were, let's say, consuming and using plastic, and especially in Japan and in Thailand. Some of the people that watch us may know what I mean, but basically in Japan, they have absolutely no idea. It's coming very slow, but there are very few idea of the disaster that is the plastic pollution. Sometimes you have luxurious things like fruits or vegetables that are wrapped in plastic one by one. But when you pay, then you have another plastic outside, and but basically it's they don't care at that point of time. They don't care. So I did some research. I was thinking about that, and at the same time, some big organization was talking about the fact that plastic was basically everywhere in landfills worldwide. So this is where my idea came from, to let's say find a way to help people make gradual changes in their everyday life, but bit by bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And so you guys made your way back to Paris in 2017, I think.
Yes.
And when you started the company, what was your goal, really? I mean, you had said that you wanted to reduce plastic, but who were you really going after to try and give them this enlightenment?
Sure. So I think it's still the case, but at that time especially, a lot of let's say brands were popping up everywhere. That was mostly targeted for let's say people that have extreme eco-friendly habits, and this is not wrong. I'm one of the few, but it's just that I think we have to be obvious that we have to go beyond that. Let's say we have to reach out to people that may be in between, that are not that extreme. So this is where the idea comes from, to find a middle ground, propose a product that will be manufactured in the best possible way, that will be reusable, robust, and sometimes stylish. So not only boring reusable product, but also things that looks good, that you may want to gift around. So the whole idea is really about what I say just a bit before. So gradual changes in the everyday life of the many, rather than extreme habits for the few, which is something I keep believing in. So yeah, this is what I was believing in, and this is what I went for with the product I started working on.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I always make the joke that we don't need like 200 perfect vegans. We need everyone doing something. Like
exactly,
literally anything. Like pick one thing. It doesn't matter. Just do something about that. And
I totally agree.
I like that approach. I think that that's something that people can get behind. And also I think that something that I like about you guys is that it's more of like, in a way, an education thing, right? So learning, okay, what is the benefit of bamboo? What's the benefit of, staying away from plastic? And after you had done quite a bit of research, what became your really your interest in sustainability? Because it started to grow, right?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I wanted to start somewhere, some place where you can have the most impact. And at that time, 3 years ago, I think all the attention was around straws.
Yes.
So basically, this is what we went for. So we went for reusable straw. And that was, I think that was a good way to approach people, because at that time, there were only very few people that was caring about plastic pollution. So me and my team were even approaching people on social media and just trying to kindly tell them, okay, hey, you can maybe use reusable straw, but not to offend people, just to be nice and start the discussion. And some people was not even aware of the disaster that is plastic pollution. So that was a good conversation starter, if I can say.
Yeah.
So that was the main focus, reusable straw. And I think you know what's next, which is that basically a lot of companies started to propose reusable straw, which is great. Actually, I was a lot into bamboo, just myself at the beginning, and I was thinking, okay, having a reusable cutlery set that could be proposed and reused when you eat outside, especially in a society where a lot of people, eat in the office, they buy takeaways. So, there was an opportunity to save a lot of single-use plastic cutleries and to share awareness, because every single people that will use that in their office, it will be, an excuse to start a discussion, to talk about it. So this is what we went for, basically. So
and there was another a very cool part about the cutlery set too, is that your wife is a beautiful artist. And
That's right.
And she just, you said, oh, we want to make it eco-friendly, easy to use, but also beautiful. So tell me a little bit about how she designs and, all the love that goes into how the kits actually look.
Sure. So at the very beginning, it was, just one color, the pouch of the cutleries. And I think 2 years ago, I worked with my wife so that she can do a watercolor painting that we will use on the bamboo cutlery set. So that was a great idea, but it took time to execute because I wanted to do that in the best way possible. So it's finally coming, actually. So 2 years on the making. But yeah, so the idea is to have not only a reusable cutlery set, but also have something that looks good, that can be a great gift idea, and that can even please people that totally don't care about plastic pollution, at least for the moment. But that's the approach we are betting on, basically, to extend. Yeah.
Making it stylish and kind of more of like a fashion statement, I think.
Exactly, just to have something in between, so that you not only it's not only for few people, but it's for everyone.
And I think that these are a lot of like really wonderful small changes that people can make. And what are a couple other things that you noticed and that you moved into that, bamboo versus plastic? You have one other item that you guys work with, right?
Yeah, sure. So I talk a lot with my let's say clients about bamboo versus plastic, and some people get it wrong in the sense that suddenly they trash everything that is plastic in their home and they replace by bamboo. I tell them not to do that because that's a wasteful habit, actually. But just mostly single-use products, and the product that you have in plastic that works perfectly fine, they will live forever. So just keep them; it's fine. So that's one thing. It's not. We should not get crazy about plastic. Sometimes it's very good in your home. So that's one thing. Buying products that are in wood or bamboo or coconut is great rather than plastic. I mean, if you have something new to buy, there are some small changes we are working on that may seem very specific, but we believe in that. It's, for example, bristle of toothbrush or a cleaning product. So basically, we are working hard to find alternative, such as coconut bristles, coconut fiber, that is totally organic and that will decompose by himself. So that's something we are working on as well. And finally, I think one of the big change we can all make is try to avoid buying product that come from warehouses of giant web companies. I don't want to name people, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And this is why we decided not to store product in such warehouses all over the world. We ship directly where this is manufactured, so in Asia. Okay. So that's the few things I'm thinking about.
That's wonderful. And you had mentioned to me, the big businesses and big warehouses and things like that. When you were diving into the manufacturing of the products in your early years, what did you notice when you were trying to find a sustainable manufacturer that surprised you?
Yeah. So I think in Asia, more than anywhere in the world, but it's the case in other parts of the world, but I think you have very few manufacturers that really care about the environment. But it's getting there. It's getting there because now it's a thing, and they know that a lot of people are looking for that. But you have to dig in very far to make sure that they are basically up to the claims that they are telling you. So I'm talking about certificates that they may say they have, what kind of food lacquer they are using, in bamboo products. You don't want to have chemicals in that, and also how they treat employees, etc. So I think at the beginning, we used to work with numerous manufacturer, or let's say a limited amount of products because we were starting. But as we grow, since 3 years, what we wanted to do is just try to work with very few manufacturers that we know deeply, that we are able to visit. Of course, not in this new COVID era, but in a normal world, let's say that we are able to visit from time to time, even people that are living in Asia that work with me. And people we trust. That's the most important. People that really care about the environment, people that are able to go to the extra miles and, go into the crazy test that we are doing about coconut versus nylon, etc. And I'm lucky to say that we find such partners. So this is what we do. That's for the manufacturing part. And regarding the logistic, I think we noticed that we can easily end up shipping product all over the world in a warehouse that are nearby clients. Obviously, it's easier in terms of customer care because people receive product in one day. They are happy. But that does not make sense in terms of sustainability. So we take the bold decision to ship directly from where this is manufactured, so Vietnam or China. And that's what it is. It's coming from there. So we have to wait a little bit to be delivered, which is around 10 days, a little bit more, which is not crazy, right? But now we are used to, the 1 day, 2 day thing. But I think it's time that we change this kind of mindset. So I'm glad we do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, taking a look at the circular way of manufacturing to the shipping to then, what happens when it's recycled or being thrown away is really important. And, I know that it's really hard when you call yourself a sustainable company because you end up being under a lot of scrutiny at times. I remember when I first was trying to launch Conscious Basket, I got a little bit of heat from some people because I don't know everything. I'm still learning also. Did you ever experience anything from anyone when you were, just trying to build the brand?
So I think at the very beginning, it was a bit harsh because I have the feeling that the community was way more extreme that now. But yeah, we came to a point where we were talking with people that were basically disagreeing with everything. They were claiming that we were trying to greenwash people, that we were doing that only for the money. So that sometimes is harsh, but at the same time, you also meet nice people that are glad that they came to discover our product. So that's great. And I think at the end, you cannot, when you build something, you cannot meet people that only agree with you. So you have to take a stand. And yeah, so I'm glad we went through that. I think now it's getting better. People start to realize that the true enemy, if I can say that, is a corporation that just don't care.
Yeah.
And let's say that even if there are few companies that call them sustainable and may greenwash people, I will say that that's not the true focus there. So we should we should think about that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think a big part of it too is education. Like people don't understand, the difference between bamboo and why not plastic. So tell me a little bit about bamboo and why bamboo.
Yeah, sure. So actually, fun fact, some people think bamboo is wood. Actually, it's a grass. It's a grass that is quite amazing because it grew very fast. But I mean, very fast, especially for some species that can only grow in Asia. So those species are highly renewable. It means that if you have a field that is big enough for your manufacture, you can cut it very often and it will keep growing. So that's quite amazing because it means that you don't need that much of a land to sustainably produce enough so that you can produce your product. So that's one thing. So it also some of the people claim that it has antibacterial properties, which is great. But we should be careful around that because sometimes you see towels, you see a lot of things in bamboo. But let's say that some products make more sense than the other. I think ultimately the only drawback, to be honest, is the fact that the species that can be used the most to craft products, they grow in Asia. So we still have the fact that there is a carbon footprint related to each product. And that's something we have to offset one way or another. But that's I'd say the big deal of regarding bamboo, but it has so many good factors that I think we should be glad that we can have a lot of product in bamboo.
Yeah, definitely. And, like you had mentioned, it grows really quickly. You can make a lot of things from it. And even though we have some CO2 emissions from the, shipping there, from your analysis, does that outweigh using plastic?
Yeah, clearly. That's clearly something that's obvious because I think people are quite sensitive about plastic because most of us, they have their bin at the end, outside their home. And, a lot of people don't really think about what is happening behind. But actually, most of the plastic, and there is a lot of study around that, but most of the plastic end up in a landfill and ultimately may end up in the ocean. In some countries, it's directly in the ocean.
Yeah.
But even in the USA, in Europe, some of it is recycled, some of it go to a landfill, and some end up in places where we cannot imagine, like in the other part of the world, in Asia, etc. And finally, I want to talk about recycling because what we include into recycling, it's very variable because a lot of the plastic that is being said to be recycled is actually burned. It's burned to create energy, but when you burn plastic, you release chemical in the atmosphere that will end up somewhere in the rain, that you end up receiving when you're outside in the ocean. So basically, anything that you do in plastic will end up somewhere. So that's that's quite scary, and I think that's we are living in a world where I think it's time to think about, especially wrapping, single-use plastic that we use only one time. Around 60% of the plastic that is being produced is used only one time. It's wrapping. So that's, there is a lot of industry to think about. But basically, if we have way to use something else than plastic, especially for single-use products such as cup when you buy takeaways, cutleries when you buy takeaways, plastic bottles, things like that. That's the kind of things that are easily can be easily replaced, and that there will be some huge benefit if a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that 60% of plastic is single use.
Actually, there is a lot of study, and you'll have people that will say it's more, people that will say it's less, but it's most study they end up saying between 50 to 60%. Yes,
that's a lot of plastic.
But actually, it makes sense, because when you go to you do your groceries, how do you buy something if there is no plastic outside? You have to go to a bulk store, etc. But if you go to classic grocery store, it's just everywhere.
Yeah, even you go to the grocery store and you have peeled oranges that are wrapped in plastic, or like a cucumber individually wrapped in plastic, and I'm just like, you can't even get away from it. And it's exactly so hard. You have to go to a farmer's market or something like that, or stay away from big box retail stores, and make sure you carry your cutlery with you and be conscious of that stuff. I mean, I thought about it too, and I was talking to my fiance about it, and I was tracking like how much, after we talked, I was like, how much trash do we actually have, and how much single-use plastic is there? And we're two people, and it's sad, actually. I mean, we really need to take a look at it even in our own household, even though we are, doing our best also. But every day I learn something new, and I'm like, dang, I'm not doing anything about that.
Yeah. But I think there is two key things I wanted to talk about. Is first, why do we peel orange and sell it like that? I mean, an orange, it has a natural wrapping, so keep it that way. You sell it with the natural wrapping, no need for plastic, no need for anything.
Yeah.
You peel your own orange, you'll be fine. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I think there is a conversation we have to keep having with a lot of people, is that reusable product, it's not about shaming people, because we all know that there are huge corporations that can do way more than we will ever do by changing our habits. And so it's more about having people that start to care, having people that start to think about it, and start to talk with their friends, their relatives, eventually vote using what they know and what they think, and the right candidates, etc. And take a stand about the plastic pollution, because at the end we know that there is a lot of big corporation that can do way more than we will ever do in a lifetime. But this is, I mean, it starts with the people caring and basically voicing it out loud. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, it's all about it's about supply and demand, consumerism versus, blindly buying. And if you don't start buying a different way, the big box retailers aren't going to shift. So if you have somebody out there that might be eco-curious, or they're thinking to themselves, oh, shoot, like I definitely buy that single wrapped orange that's already peeled on that styrofoam plate. What are a couple of things that you would say to them if they wanted to make maybe one or two changes?
Sure. So as we said, this is not about shaming, because we all do groceries. If you don't buy organic or in a fancy bulk store, that's fine. It's totally normal. You basically do what you can with what you have nearby your place, and that's totally fine. So we should not get rid of every single plastic wrapping that is around us, because you have to eat, right? And your family as well. So that's the first thing. Don't get too stuck into avoiding plastic, because it's very difficult. But I think we have to target single-use products that can easily be replaced. Like, as we said, when we buy takeaways, when we go camping, when we invite a lot of people, very soon we will start. Basically, we'll start offering single-use products that are in bamboo, because basically we have a lot of people that tell us, okay, your product look nice, but I want single-use product. I don't want to wash them because I will have 100 people for a wedding. I want to use that and then get rid of it. So we have to understand that, and we are about to release such a product that is affordable. But
you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
Product
actually,
release.
that's really the first time I'm saying that.
Oh,
but yeah, that's the kind of thing we want to propose, and reusable cutleries could be a nice way to engage people on tricky conversation, because obviously your aunt, your grandma, or your relative that don't care at all about the environment, you will not basically interact with them directly and say, hey, be careful, stop buying that, stop buying this. No, I think that there is another way. There is a way where you could think about gifts that could make sense for them because they look good, because they could be part of their daily kit, but also because they are in bamboo. Then they will avoid using single-use plastic, and then maybe they start to care, and maybe they start to talk about it, and then they will share the voice. So that's an idea.
I like it. I like the vision. And, I think that what you guys are doing is wonderful, because like you had mentioned, if everybody just got rid of the single use or reduced it a little bit, maybe made one or two choices that they wouldn't before, if we did it collectively, it would make a difference, as, just individually, but also maybe it would catch the attention of the big box retailers.
Exactly. And I have one last thing to say. Sorry about that.
No.
But I think it's quite important. I think we underestimate the fact that a lot of restaurants, they will very easily change their whole buying mindset as soon as they realize that people want packaging that are eco-friendly. It's not that expensive anymore. It's just a few cents on top of it. But it's just that, if you are financially driven, I'm a restaurant owner, I don't care about the environment, no one is complaining, I'm fine. I use plastic all day long. But if people start to care, if people start to mention it, personally, I prefer to go to restaurants that use reusable products, that use eco-friendly packaging. And I think they start to pick on that. And this is why you start to see more and more restaurants that offer eco-friendly packaging, etc. So it can go way faster than we imagine, and even in your neighborhood. So that's something we should think about. Yeah.
I love that. I think that, making the decisions just personally and, standing up for yourself, speaking up, when other people are not like you guys are, will make the difference. And slowly but surely we'll start seeing these changes made. And, thank you so much for, dedicating your life to starting a business to make the difference. Because it, like 50% of plastic being single use, that's a staggering number. It's really shocking, honestly, to me. Something I didn't know. But want to tell the listeners actually where they can find you and all of the fun things that are coming up before we end up?
Sure. So you can find us online. So thesustainabletomorrow.com, and you can find it on Instagram and Facebook as well. So yeah. And I think in terms of main focus, so recently we just released an eco-friendly electric bamboo toothbrush. So you can learn more by looking at the website and the social media. And very soon we will release the cutlery with the watercolor painting that we just talked about, and that I'm very excited about because it's been 2 years that we were working on that. So yeah, that's about it.
And it's beautiful. I mean, I saw the watercolor. It's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be easy to carry in your purse. And for the toothbrush too, it's not your average bamboo toothbrush. It's like a legit.
Yeah, I think the idea is just to say, okay, it's true that having electric products, it's not really the most eco-friendly habits, but at the same time, you have people that needs that for medical purpose. It's really their dentists that tell them, okay, hey, you need an electric toothbrush. And there is a second part is that there are people that just want an electric toothbrush, whether we like it or not. And I think because we have this kind of choice, we need to have choices for everyone. So this is why we offer an electric toothbrush that basically use compostable heads that is made using raw bamboo. And then the bristle are using a plant-based material. So that's one thing. And yeah, so we are excited about it. We start to get a lot of feedback, a lot of good reviews, and that that's just that's great.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Keep an eye out for the watercolor cutlery. And if you have the need for a new toothbrush, definitely check out the bamboo toothbrush. But if you already have an electric toothbrush, you can most likely utilize at least the tips on it. So you're not constantly running through plastic over and over again. So thank you so much for joining us. I had so much fun interviewing you. And we'll see all of you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us on another episode of Conscious Basket. And just a small reminder, Conscious Basket is not just hosting interviews. We are in the process of launching our marketplace, where our goal is to make it super easy for you to make conscious decisions about what you're buying by knowing the origin of the products and services. We're using our technology to highlight a transparent supply chain with our vendors, which means you know what goes into those products and where they came from to make sure those things you buy don't weigh on your conscience. And to ensure this peace of mind, we have developed a score to rank the sustainability of the purchase. For instance, how much water is being used, trees saved, animal lives, human rights, and so on. So, if you're an entrepreneur with a sustainable product and would be interested in being on the platform, please email us at info@consciousbasket.com. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, thought leader, or academic that would like to be a guest on the show, please drop us a line at the same email. And if you're just interested in taking a closer look at us, you can also take a look at our website, which is www.consciousbasket.com. And as always, you can explore the topics we discussed in the show notes and find many more topics on all of our social platforms. So give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn @ConsciousBasket. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to our show and leave us a comment with any key takeaways. I read them all. Share with your friends, family, post a screenshot on your social about the podcast so that we can extend our reach to help propel our movement forward. Finally, just another small reminder that perfectionism is not the goal here. In my opinion, perfectionism is what gets in the way of all of us collectively picking what I like to call your thing, which is whatever you choose to make a positive impact on this world. Thank you again for joining us.